So when I think of Mattapan Food and Fitness Coalition, I don't think of a job. I just think of us as a group of people who are really passionate about serving the residents and giving them what they need.
We began MFFC, Mattapan Food and Fitness Coalition, as an effort to improve the health of community residents by focusing on increasing access to healthy foods and opportunities to be more physically active. And so one of the first projects that we did was to reach out to local youth to help us in doing a survey of local residents about their experiences. Shavel'le was one of those youth.
I met the youth coordinator at the time, and I did the interview, and I got hired. And I was thinking, yes, now I have my own money. I don't have to ask my dad for money. I can go and do whatever it is that I want. But at that time, I was quiet, I was shy, I was very unsure of myself, not a lot of confidence.
She was always a very intentional young person. She was also very quiet.
I just remember being scared because I was entering a space that I did not know.
And yet it was clear that she was hearing the voices of those around her and listening well to them and incorporating that into plans to do things that the group would appreciate and would all like to see done.
I met my group of friends here. And so this became my outlet.
At the end of doing that project, they asked, could they stay with MFFC? And we said yes, and they said, we'd like to call ourselves the Mattapan Food and Fitness Coalition Vigorous Youth.
I think we're trying to achieve getting teens to realize that health in the world affects them too. We all have to deal with food access and food insecurity. We all have to deal with physical activity and figuring out ways to be healthier. They're doing a lot of community outreach, doing surveying, they're doing a lot of learning, and they're also doing a lot of teaching.
Our view from the beginning is that we wanted the youth to take their own ideas and think through how they would like to develop them and broaden them and use them to reach out and improve the health of the community. So they had a number of different projects that they came up with.
I think that the idea of youth empowerment really came from the assessment and really the value of creating a coalition. However, what was really different, as we had different components of MFFC, we also saw the real elevation of youth really directly coming from the youth itself, not necessarily from the adults that say we want to have a youth program, certainly, but it was really, I think, through the youth, especially to Shavel'le's guidance, that we saw that she really took the ball and kept it moving and kept it rolling.
The first thing I did when I joined Mattapan Food and Fitness was the Mattapan Square Farmers Market, and that was September 9th, 2009 or September 10th, 2009. I still remember the date. So the season is from July to October. It starts second week of July. Every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have local farmers, fresh produce, affordable produce. I remember just bagging up groceries and giving it to the residents who were shopping. So that was my first interaction.
So the Vigorous Youth help with setting up and breaking down. They do crowd control, which is just basically making sure that people know how to get into the farmers market, how to move throughout it if there's a special event. They also help the farmers sell their produce.
It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful to see, and I see them coming out of their shells. Like, I was here when they first got here, this round of youth, and they're very shy, you know, very quiet, and I just see them like coming out of their bubble.
A young person may always be looking for a second or third home. They're always looking for another set of adults, and when you find those set of adults who really actually care about you, and you see them and they talk to you on the phone and they take the time to listen to you, talk about whatever, that makes you feel good inside and it makes you want to better yourself as well.
Chantal is an amazing youth coordinator. Like, they're so lucky to have her. I tell her this all the time. I'm like, the things that you have planned for them, like how you take them out of their community and just like keep exploring, and the activities she has them do, I'm just like, they're so lucky to have you as a youth coordinator.
If you break that fourth wall of adulting and like being that strong person, then people feel like that the kids won't learn. And I don't think that's true. I think that kids are smart, and they're also like, they can see what's going on around them. So like, if you're not real with them and if you're not telling them like, this is what you see and like, this is how I'm working through it, then they're gonna have to figure out their own way to work through it. And by me being able to stay at the office with them, or to like throw away like the whole plan for the day just to have a conversation about like coming to work on time or responding to emails or having proper communication, shows them that like, oh, it goes from being at home to being at work to then being with my friends, and how these things all connected.
I think about this all the time, and I really have to give gratitude to my lovely ladies, as I call them, the leadership team, the advisory board. Having a group of ladies who encourage you, support you, understand who you are as a person, and takes the time to intentionally mentor you and not push you to do things, allows a person of my personality, who is shy and quiet, introverted, to challenge themselves in the way that they're able to challenge themselves. The first real project that I did alongside with my peers at the time was Mattapan on Wheels, and that's something that I co-founded in 2011 at the age of 18.
At an early meeting, it was brought up at a meeting of asking the youth, how many of them would like to do biking? And a lot of them raised their hands. And I said, how many of you have a bike? And fewer hands went down. And then how many of you know how to bike? And it went down even more. So that then prompted the group of the youth to say, well, then we need to find a way to strengthen more youth from our community knowing how to bike, having access to bikes, and knowing how to safely bike in our community. And they then created the idea of, let's have this event called Mattapan on Wheels.
Vivian always volunteered her time to help us, and she was driving me to Hannaford's because we were going to go get the refreshments like granola bars, water, and snacks for the event. And we were driving in the car, and I remember asking her, Vivian, do you get paid to do this? And she was starting to laugh a little bit, and she was like, no, I don't get paid for this. And in my head, it was just going off with different fireworks because my mind was really blown, because this woman was everywhere, answering all of the emails at every event. So I assumed that she worked here and that she was getting paid to do this work.
All of us were volunteering our time. What we wanted was for people in the community to feel collective ownership of the organization. It was to be an organization that focused primarily on hearing the voices of the community and then doing whatever the community felt needed to be done, but also engaging more and more of them in helping to do those things as well.
So when I learned that she was not getting paid to do this work and all the impact that she was making on a volunteer basis, and then understanding that none of the leadership team at the time was also getting paid to do this work is because of the passion and care that they had for the community, I decided at 22, 23 that I no longer needed to get paid for this work as well, because what I was getting in return was worth more than a dollar sign.
I always tell the kids that, like, I got this job through volunteering, like giving up my time for free. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, sometimes you have to like sacrifice for the betterment of yourself and your community. And I think that like telling that story helps to show them that like, you know, the work that you do here is hard and like sometimes you might not want to do it and you might not see like where it goes, but it's going to make a better difference for you in the future or even you right now if you take the time to do it.
And so I started really volunteering my time at the age of 23. So from 23 to 28, I was volunteering my time. We had other youth coordinators come in and they were getting paid, and I was just supporting them on a volunteer basis because I really cared deeply about the youth program.
We were growing, we were fundraising, we wanted to get our own 501c3, you know, we had a fiscal agent, all of those things to become, you know, a nonprofit. And so when it came time for us to sort of, you know, to pivot and seek a director of the organization, she decided she wanted to apply for the position. And we thought it was this natural progression because we were able to observe her, but she was also able to see the growth within the organization and how she could apply what she learned to managing the organization to be what it is now.
I ultimately decided to say that I wanted to become the executive director because of all the love and support that they gave me, and I knew that they would continue to do that while I was going through this journey. We were a very scrappy organization, just pure joy of doing the work that we do, all the money that we receive just going straight to the community, still currently doing that, but now we're able to hire folks and invest in our organization because we already put in the time, and so we needed to invest in our organization to remain sustainable.
She's an incredible ED, and I say this not for any other reason than just like it's just the honest truth. Like I see who she is as a person, and it translates to her position as an ED, like how she carries the organization. She doesn't drop her values. Like it's not about profit for her. It's about the people.
I truly feel like that my title is just that. It's just a title. And it's more about the specific set of responsibilities that I have and the specific set of responsibilities that each person in MFFC has, whether they're a staff or volunteer or an intern. And we're all working together for the sole purpose of making sure that our residents have the things that they need.
I use her as an example like all the time, and I'm always talking to the youth about her. I'm like, look, she literally was where you guys were, like 15, 16, being in the program, going through the curriculum, doing some of the stuff that you guys are kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this. And like now she's running the program. And I feel like the more and more I show that there are like more people who actually care about their community and who put in the work in to do these things, it makes them have that drive. She kind of like sits there and like doesn't think that like, you know, the stuff that she does like affects people, but like it does. And like having that story, even if people can't see her or people can't meet her, is so impactful. I'm only crying because like I'm laughing and like thinking about all the memories and stuff.
Don't worry about that.
Just like the leadership team did for me when I was a Vigorous Youth, and the Vigorous Youth who were in the same cohort as I was, I would love to be able to do that for future Vigorous Youth.
I'm trying not to cry. MFFC has taught me what community is and what it means. You know, it's like we all have our own lives and we all have our own things that we're going through, and we're able to acknowledge those things and hold space in a way that doesn't take away from us getting the work done that we have to get done, because work still has to get done.
Well, I'm extremely proud of Shavel'le, and I'm extremely proud of all the people who've been putting energy into this, because, you know, for some of the people who've been around longer, I mean, like I said, they've put in hundreds, thousands of hours of their lifetime into helping others.
This is a team effort. And if we just focus on our purpose of our organization, which is to help one another, then you don't think about, oh, this isn't my job and I'm not getting paid for this. You just think about how wonderful is it that I have the time and the opportunity to help and serve other people who may not have those things that I have.